The topic which I am covering today is macros. So I'm sure at once or other time you might have used the macros, or at least you might have run the macros. If you are into the finance domain and if you are especially a chartered accountant, if you file income tax return using utility provided by Government of India, Excel utility, that means you are using the macro. So let us concentrate the concept of macros. What is the meaning of actually the macro? Macro is a procedure whereas user asking Excel to record all the steps. When user runs this macro, Excel performs all the steps, all the steps one after other within seconds of time, within seconds time. Okay, we will take a small example. Okay, first we'll go into a concept of SOP. I think in our offices, we know the word names SOP. SOP means standard operating procedure. Why I'm talking about the SOP here? I'm sure everyone knows about this concept of SOP. Let's say if I join into a company and if I'm familiar with the process and if I'm only the person knows about that process, then company started asking me to prepare the SOP. SOP is basically a very standard procedure and that runs into hundreds of pages. When we call an SOP is the good SOP, that means if I prepare an SOP, if I give the same document to some other person who is into a different department, if we can handle the entire assignment by just looking into the document, that means it is a good SOP. Why I'm calling, why I'm taking the concept of SOP because macro is exactly like our SOP. In case of SOP, we take pen and paper and we start writing each and every step, or else we'll open a Word document and we'll start writing each and every step. But in the case of Excel macro, Excel writes each and every steps at the back end. Okay, so macros can be used to automate the tasks. Macros can be used to automate tasks. Okay, so we'll try to understand each and every item of the macro recording here. Let's say now I want to do couple of steps. I want Excel to record. There are four ways. There are three ways user can record the macro. What are they? One, are you finding an icon of the macros? Click the macros icon from the taskbar. Okay, this is what the icon which I am talking about. Once I click it, it will ask me to run. Okay, sorry, record. Second one, you can find in the view tab macro group, macros drop down, and record a macro. The third one, are you finding a developer tab? Yes. In the developer tab, are you finding code group? Yes. In that, are you finding record macro? Yes. These are the three ways you can record the macro. You can, this is the one which I'm talking about, or else this is the one which I'm talking about, or else this is the one which I'm talking about. Friends, by default, your developer tab may not be available in your system because that is by default, okay, disabled. If it got disabled, what you need to do, go to custom ribbon menu. This might have unchecked. If it is unchecked, developer tab is not there. If you want to get it, you have to go to the same path, options, customize ribbon menu, and just click this button, click OK, so that the tab will appear here, right? Now we'll slowly start recording one after other macros, and we'll try to understand at the back end how Excel is understanding this. Now let me start recording the macro. I'm just going into the view tab, macros, and record the macro. Now we have the very important point. Macros are basically two types. The first option, Vinath, are you finding in the taskbar? Have you seen my cursor here, which is highlighted? That icon itself is a recording the macro. Are you finding my cursor here in the taskbar? One screen tip also appeared. This is what the taskbar we call. In this is the icon. You got the point? Click the macros icon from the taskbar. Yeah. So macros are basically two types. One is relative reference macro. The other one is absolute reference macro. Right? Cell reference is by default a relative reference, but in case of macro, macro is by default absolute reference. If we want to record the macro as relative reference, we should enable that. You will get to know the meaning of this. Now I'll go here. It's not appearing in my Excel. If it is not appearing, do one thing. Right click. Probably this is what got disabled, the stick. Are you finding it, Vinath? Great. Okay. Now I want to record the macro. Let's go to the macros, record it. If you observe, you should give the macro name, you should provide the shortcut key, and you should store the macro, you should give the description. So what I do, this is what the record macro. Now let's try to understand. It's having couple of options. What are they? One, macro name. Provide the unique macro name. You cannot use the spaces here. Okay, we cannot use spaces in the macro name. Okay, make sure that you are not using the spaces. What is the second one? We can allocate a shortcut for the macro, shortcut to run the macro. Friends, very much important. Make sure that we are using a shortcut which is already not available. What is the meaning of it? For example, for a macro, I have given a shortcut as control plus C. Then what happens? Now, whenever you click, whenever we click control plus C shortcut, macro will run. Means macro shortcuts overrides our existing shortcuts. our default shortcuts. So you must be very careful. So you cannot put just Control C as a shortcut, because next time when you start doing Control C, your macro will run, copy will not happen. Okay, so you must be very careful. Macro shortcuts cannot be the regular shortcuts. Third one, macros can be shaved. Macro can be stored in the following. You can store the macro in three places, where in this Excel workbook, that means macro will be stored in the current Excel, in the current active Excel workbook, or else in the new Excel. That means your macro, I'm sorry, first time after started our session, I'm finding this problem. Okay, fine. So great. Now you can save the macro into new Excel workbook. Macro will be stored in the brand new Excel. The third one is very important in the personal Excel workbook. What is the meaning of it? Macro will be stored in the Excel names personal. We'll try to understand one after other. Friends, let's say, let's take an example. Let's say XYZ workbook having the macro names ABC, okay, or else macro names A. Then my question is, can we run A macro in XYZ file? Obviously, because A is belongs to XYZ, yes, we can, because A macro is anyway belongs to same file XYZ. Now I have one more question. XYZ workbook having the macro names A, but XYZ file has been closed. Now user opened another Excel names PQR. Now the question is, can user run A macro in PQR file? The question is no. Why? Because A macro belongs to XYZ, and also XYZ file is not opened. In case XYZ file opened, then A macro can be used in PQR file. What is the meaning of it? There is an important point. Once we open an Excel file, the macros in that Excel belongs to all Excel files which are open. I have one more question for you. Let's say one macro recorded in every file. Let's say one macro recorded in each file of 10 workbooks. That means every workbook is having one macro. Now, if user opened all workbooks, now my question is, how many macros can be run in any of the file? Can be run in any of the file? Don't confuse the question. It's very simple. Let's say I recorded one macro in every file, like that, 10 files. Now I open all 10 files. Now if I go to one Excel, how many macros I can run in that Excel file? The answer is 10 macros can be run in any of the opened Excel file. Why? Because once you open the file, the macro belongs to that Excel, is no more for that Excel, that is belongs to every Excel. So you must understand where you need to save the macro, and if you want to run the macro, what you need to do. That is the reason Some of the cases when we want to run the macro which is there in a different Excel, first we'll open that file, then we'll run that macro in the other file. Okay, that is what the meaning of it. Now let me start recording the macro. Now I'll just go here. Let me click record. Now let me give him a sample one. I'm giving a shortcut key. So I use a shift combination because with the shift combination, we have very less shortcuts. So control shift A I use. So I want to record the macro in this Excel. Now let me click OK. Now, how do you know that the macro is recording? Because if you keep the cursor here, you are finding a stop recording. If you keep the cursor here, you are finding stop recording. And if you keep the cursor here, this is also stop recording. So that means the macro is recording now. Now, what is my macro? Let me keep the cursor here. Now, let me write 10. Now, let me just stop recording the macro. Now, what happened? Excel, when I go to the macros, my macro is finding here. When I ask Excel to run, Excel does the same task again. Now, if I go here, if I go to macros, if I click run, just check it out what will happen. 10 appeared and it moved down. So what Excel is doing now, at the back end, it is trying to record the macro. How to go and check the back end macro, whatever the coding. Now, Excel is writing the macro in the VBA language, right? There are two ways in recording the macro. There are two ways we can automate our tasks. One is by recording macro, by recording the steps in the macro. Second one, by writing VBA code in Excel. Okay, VBA stands for Visual Basic for Applications. This is the proprietary language for the Microsoft. This is a Microsoft own language, right? So in this case, when I recorded the macro at the back end, Excel might have given a couple of steps. Now, can I see those steps? Yes. Go to the macros. Are you finding this? Yes. Once you click step, you'll find one more pop-up. This pop-up, we call it as a Visual Basic Application pop-up. This you can find it very easily. See, if you look into the left side, all the opened Excels got opened. Okay, all the Excel got opened here. Okay, VBA project. Then are you finding one Excel workbook? We'll check it out. When I talk about introduction to the VBA, I'll exactly tell you the meaning of this. As of now, let us looking into this. This is the program it has written. Sub is basically a sub procedure which happens. This is a macro name, then sample macro one, keyboard shortcut, whatever it has given. When you are finding a single quote, that means it is not part of your code. Let's say this is all I want to convert into. Okay, this all I want to convert into a comment, then I can put a single quote space. I'm sure this is not part of your program. This is also not part of your program. This is also not part of your program. Have you seen now the color got changed to green color? When the color is changing to green color, that means it's a comment. It's not it's not part of the program. While running the program, Excel skips these items which are started with a single quote. This is very important because when you have a large program, you must break it and you must explain, you must document what the below program is talking about. In those cases, we can use the green color identification. Now, let us try to understand this program. What Excel is saying, run a1.select. This is as if go to a1. Now, sample one macro. Excel recorded three steps. Select A1 cell, write, enter value 10, then select B1 cell, sorry, yeah, B1 cell 4, stop. Just check it out. Is it the same thing it has written? Go to A1 select active cell dot R1C1 write 10 range A2 dot select. See, every time when you ask macro to record, macro writes the program sometimes much more access than what is required. Now what I'm trying to do, I'll just try to same thing. Let me copy this. Let me go here, okay, below. Let me paste here. Now this time let me keep the macro name as a sample 2. Friends, I'm not recording this time, I'm writing a program. I don't want this anything because shortcut I have already used. So let me remove this. Now, whatever the step which I just now did, I can do it with a simple step. Okay. Now what I can do, range A1 equal to 10. This is absolutely equal to that macro. Now what I'll be doing, I'll just go to this. Now let me remove everything. Now I'll just go to macros. Are you finding sample 2? Now run it exactly the same. Okay, so what it is happening when you are asking Excel to record a macro, Excel record every minute step. Sometimes it is a disadvantage. Some of the steps it records, even it's not required. See, in the Mac sample to what I did, this is sample 1. Sorry, this is sample 2 written by me. This is recorded macro, right? Now let us look into the steps. Now in this case, simply Excel is doing one thing. Enter value 10 in A1 cell. Stop. That's all. That's the difference. You need not to select A1 to write 10. That's what my meaning. After 10, you need not to go to A2. Let it be in A1 itself. So that is what the meaning of the macros and VBA. So you can, in the VBA, when we start writing the program, we are always, okay, skip so many steps because Excel macro go to each and every step. So the every step will be recorded at the back end. If you know the program, you can eliminate so many steps. That is what the advantage of this. Okay. Now we'll start writing couple of small programs. Now I'll just go here. Now this time I'm going to write a small program. Now let me save this file first of all. F12 is the shortcut to save as. You have to make sure that you should not save this file in .xlsx format because I told you on the first day this must be stored in .xlsm format because it's a macro enabled. So macros, right? Now friends, now let me record a macro. Now this time let me keep the macro name as sample3, control shift C. Now if I click OK, the macro will be stored here. Enter. Now this time what I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to keep 10, enter, 20, enter, 10, enter. Sorry. All three 10, 10, 10 I entered. Now let me stop. Now let us see the program what it has recorded. I'm sorry, it's just running it. Friend, just give me one second. Yeah. Now if I go and see the program at the back end, go to the sample 3, click edit, see it is writing the same thing. In the active cell write 10, go to A2 and write in that 10, go to A3, write in the 10 and range A4. Now you can easily do this. Okay. Excel has recorded 6 steps. Oh my God. Now, for example, okay, if I increase this program, now you understood the pattern, right? Now you can start writing the same thing. What I can do, Now let me control C. From today, please start exploring the program. See, till here Excel has recorded. It's not mine. So what Excel is recording, Sharon, whatever the active cell, write 10, then go to A2, write 10, go to A3, write 10, go to A4, write 10. Now what I'm saying, go to A5, or else go to B1, or else A5 will take, write 10, go to A6, write 10, A7, write 10, and so on. For example, if I want to fill the same data for 100 cells, then what I need to do, I should keep the same thing one below other 100 times. Check it out. After, okay, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6, now I'm writing A7, A8, A9, A10, then A11, then A12, then A13. Like this, you may need to write 100 times. Now try to understand. Wherever your cell is there, active cell, write 10. Then select A2, write 10. Select A3, write 10. Select A4, write 10. Select A5, write 10, and so on till A12, write 10. Then finally select A13, then stop. Now let me run this macro. Now, what is the shortcut for this? Control Shift C. Check it out. It has run all the steps starting from here till 12. Let me keep my cursor here. Control Shift. What is the shortcut? Okay, if I go here, Control Shift C. Check it out. Done. It has recorded all the steps. But my question is, am I need to write, for example, if I want to fill data for 1,000 cells, am I need to write these many steps at the back end 1,000 times? Not required. What I'll be doing now, I'll take a small thing here. Now let me enter. Now I am writing one more sub procedure named sample 4. Right? Now automatically the end sub will come. Now I'm going to write a small program, range in double quotation A1 comma A1000, write 10. Now what I'll be doing, I'll just go here, I'll ask Excel to run that macro, go to macros, go to sample 4, run, boom, check it out. That is what the advantage. If you know the program, if you know the VBA, a simple single line item can does the entire task. But the same thing when you start using in the Excel will record like this. Okay, now we'll start understanding slowly one after other. Now if I go here, I'll record one more macro. Now sample 5, Control Shift E is the shortcut. Now let me just click enter. Now let me zoom in. I'm not doing anything, and I'm just increasing the zoom of my Excel, and I'm reducing the zoom, and I'm again increasing the zoom, and I'm again reducing the zoom. Now I am stopping. Stop. Now let me go and stop record the macro. Now let us go and try to look into the program what it is writing. See, active window dot zoom 106, then make it 112, 118, and so on and so on. And it is just writing hundreds of line items again and again and again. Okay, though which is not required at all. Now let me run this macro. What is the shortcut to run this macro? Control Shift E. See, when I ask Excel to run the macro, it is just doing in fraction of seconds. Just check it out. Are you finding it is doing the task? Yes. Now what I'll be doing, I'll run the same macro now. Okay, let me record one more macro with the same style. Please have a look. Sample 6, Control Shift F. Now let me click OK. Friends, you must be very careful. Now I am just zooming in, and I am zooming less, and I am zooming in, zooming less, stop. Friends, when I start doing the steps. What is the meaning of it? These all steps must be in a sequence, right? That means after the first step, second has to perform. After the second step, third has to perform. After the third step, fourth has to perform, and so on. Now all the steps I recorded in this macro. Now I need to ideally stop recording. But I don't want to stop recording because I want to go back to my first step. How to tell to Excel that I should go back to first step? For this macro, I have given a shortcut. What is a shortcut for this macro, running macro? Control Shift F. Let me run it again. Now let me stop. One of the very important thing, please do not confuse. Okay, this concept we call it as a loop. Now let me go here. Sorry. Okay. Now I'm talking about sample 6 macro. What are there in the sample 6 macro? It's very simple. We okay changed the zoom n times, right? The all the steps will happen. All steps will be recorded one after other. After the last step, I asked Excel to go back to the first step. So after Excel performs first step, it bound to perform all the steps again, one after other. Again, after reaching the last step, okay, we asked Excel to go back to the first step. The process goes on. This concept is called as loop. Okay. In this case, if you look into the program, let's go here. It is exactly like our earlier program. This is also the same program, right? But after active zoom 100, we asked Excel to stop. But here, after active zoom 100, we have written one more code. What is that code? Application.run. Which application it has to run? Macros.xlsm, my Excel workbook name. In that sample 6 macro. What is sample 6 macro? That means from which step sample 6 macro has to start. This is the first step. So after first step, again second step will happen. After second, third, fourth, and so on till the last step. Again, after the last step, what is the again one more thing I'm asking? Excel asked me to, I'm asking the Excel to record the run the same macro. Again, it will go to the first step till the last step. Again, go to the first step till last step. It is a loop. Now, if I go here, if I do Control Shift F until I click no, okay, escape, Excel keep on perform the same, or else because at the back end I did not tell to Excel how many times it has to perform, because it is doing again and again, you'll find this not responding. But don't worry, once the stack space at the back end got filled with the entire cache memory, then it will stop. Till that point of time it will not stop. Are you finding here? This zoom is actually happening again and again and again and again. Let me force stop. I'm just clicking escape. Once you click escape, now Excel is trying to stop. Yeah, now there was a pop-up which appeared. Excel is saying, Saran, the memory is over, just keep quiet. Okay, it's stuck up. Yeah, what is that? Out of stack space, no problem. Okay, so that is what the way we understand the loop. Now we'll try to write small things in Excel again. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll record one more macro. Let me record a macro. I'll just go to record a macro. Let me put this sample 7, Control Shift G, enter. What is this macro? I'm asking Excel to go to A1 cell, write company. Let's go to B1 cell, write amount. Let me click A, B, C. I, I did wrong. Once you did wrong, even Excel also will do wrong at the back end. No problem, we can correct it. Now, let's go to the amount equal to random between, sorry, 100 to 1000, copy, paste special values. Now, let's go here, total. Now, let's take the sum. Now, let's take, sorry, for this, let's take bold. Let's take bold. And I'm just trying to give this color and this all. Let me put into the comma format. I'm writing so many steps. Now, bold, sorry, bold, then give me a different color. And let me give a border to that. Now let me keep the cursor here. Now let me stop. Now let us see how many steps it has recorded. Get it? You can easily understand. Mistakenly earlier I have used our range C1 dot select. Then from where I went down, then I went up, I went left, and so this is all mistakenly I did. Okay, whether you keep it or not, your macro will run absolutely same. So if I remove this, then is the meaning of it? Active cell dot R1C1, write company, then go to B1, write amount, then go to A2, write A, then go to A3, write B, then go to A4, write company, which is wrong actually, I corrected. Now that means can I delete this? Yes. Now can I delete this? These are all initial, okay, mistakes. Yes. Now go to A4, write C, then go to A5, write D, A6, E, F, and so on. Now it has user and between and so on. Now, friends, now, okay. Now this entire program, this is for, because especially when it comes to the formatting, Excel writes so many lines of the program. We'll try to understand the meaning of it. See, it's basically very simple. Selection dot pay special, because selection is the activity. In that, pay special is an option. In the paste special, again, we have three things. One is paste, the other one is operation, the other one is skip blanks, the other one is transpose, if you remember. See, if you want to learn the programming, first you must understand the Excel end to end. You must remember what may be the parameters in every aspect. So in this, what I'm trying to tell, after the copy, selection dot copy, I'm asking Excel to copy. What is the selection? Range B2 colon B7. Already we selected. In that we have written this formula. Then whatever the selection you already did, please copy that, and you need to paste it. You should not just paste, you should use the paste special. In that, under the paste, you please use paste values. Operation, you don't take anything, none. Skip blanks, please false. Transpose, please false. That means don't do anything with respect to this. Then application cut copy mode, false. Then selection dot end, go to the left, then start writing total, then again write the sum formula and so on. Okay, these many steps it has recorded. Now let me go here. Can I ask Excel to perform the same macro? Control Shift G? Yes. Can I keep the cursor here? Can I ask Excel to perform the same macro? Can I keep the cursor here? Now if I do Control Shift G, do you think Excel will perform it? No. Why? Excel will not perform. Why? Excel has just written. Now let's go and read the program. Excel cannot perform this because what are the steps we said? Active cell R1C1, write company, or else let me write this statement: range A1 dot select, Then active cell formula R1C1 right company. Let me close the bracket. It's an error. Obviously, I have to close this bracket. Okay. Now, if I go and run this macro, now let me go here. Control Shift G, it has given like this. If I go here, Control Shift G, it will not work. If I go here, Control Shift G, it will not work. Why? That is what the concept of absolute reference macro and relative reference macro. Friends, absolute reference macro by default in Excel whenever we run the macro. What is the meaning of the absolute reference macro? Excel remembers the cell name every time. Even you keep the cursor, that means you are expecting the macro to run here, but since the program at the backend is Excel is asking specifically go to A1, write company, then go to B1, write amount, then go to A2, write A, then go to A3, write B, and so on. Now, let me start recording the macro in case of relative reference. For that, what I need to do, go to View tab, go here, click this icon, use relative references, or else go to the Developer tab, click this. Now let me click this. Now it got enabled. That means from now, whatever the macros you are going to record, that is the relative reference macro. First of all, let us try to understand what is the meaning of the relative reference macro and absolute reference macro. As I told you, macros are basically two types. One is relative reference, the other one is absolute reference. By default, every macro is a absolute reference. If you want to record the macro as a relative reference, we should enable that. Now let's try to understand. In case of absolute reference macro, Excel remembers the cell address. And next time when user run the macro, Excel exactly go to the cell and perform the task. Now, in case of relative reference macro, Excel doesn't remember but the cell address. Excel only remembers the active cell. Every time when user move around, when user move around the active cell, Excel record how many steps user moving in the row and in the column, in the row and in the columns. Okay, so you will get to know with an example. Now I just went here. Now I clicked this use relative reference. Just read the screen tip, you will get to know. Use relative references so that macros are recorded with actions relative to the initial selected cell. For instance, if you record a macro in A1 which moves to the cursor to A3, this option turned on. Running the resulting macro, okay, you'll get to know than reading the screen tape. Now let me go here, record the macro. Now my macro is sample 1R relative. Now Control Shift Z, I'm coming from back, right? Sorry, Z. Why it's happening? Yeah, Control Shift Z. Now I want to record in the same macro. Let me click OK. Now, where is my cursor? A1. Now, right wherever your active cell is there, right company. Now, I moved one step towards the right side. Now, I am writing here amount. Now, I moved one row down, one column backside. Now, I need to write A. Now, I moved one row down, B. I moved one more down, one more row, one more row, one more row, one more row. From this point, I'm going 6 rows up, one column right side. I kept my cursor here. From here, I have selected 6 rows down, equal to rand between 100 to 1000. I'm copying this, paste special values, enter. Now, your cell is here. From here, I moved 6 rows down and 1 column backside. I have written here the total and I have written here the sum function. Now I went here and I have taken bold. Now I have just given the color. Now for this I have given the border. Now from here I used control up arrow. That means it has taken to the first cell in that range. Now let me select this. Okay, then bold. Then I have used a color of maybe this. Then I have selected from here this entirely. Then put the comma format. Then select this entire one. Then I did a column out of it. Now keep the cursor here. Now stop. I recorded so many steps. Friends, leave about Excel. If I put these steps one after other, how Excel, how the steps we are going to keep as a normal language in English. My first step is go to active cell. In the active cell, write company. Yes or no? Then move 1 column right side. Then write amount in that column. Then move, then after this company, after here, I move it down, I move towards left side. Move 1 row down and 1 column left side. That means my cursor is here. Then write A. Then what is the next one? Then move again, move 1 row down, that's all. Then write B. Then okay, again move 1 row down and so on. Then write B, C, and so on. Friends, in this entire program, is there any relevance to the cell reference? For example, if I keep my cursor, now can you run the same steps? If I keep my cursor here, then in the active cell write company, I have written company. Then what is the next step? Then move 1 column towards right side, I moved. Then write amount, I have written amount. Then 1 step down, 1 step left, I am already here. Then write A, then go to 1 step down, B, go to 1 step down, C, and so on. This is the way it is writing. So it is not remembering actually what is our cell reference. Now I'll go here, I'll start running this macro, Control Shift Z. Check it out. Now, if I go here and if I run this macro, Control Shift Z, it works. Now, if I keep my cursor here, now if I run this macro, still it works. Still it works. Because in the relative reference macro, it is remembering your path. Okay. Sorry, it's not remembering your path, but it is remembering your movement, how you are moving from the initial cell. Now, let us look into the program, what it has written at the back end. Now, let me go down. Friends, see, check it out. Program same actually the result, but here it has written go to A1 write company, go to B1 write amount. But here it's nowhere telling that go to A1. Just check it out. This is what the sample 1R. Control Shift Z is the shortcut. Now what it is saying? Active cell dot R1C1 write company. Then active cell offset 0, 1. What is the meaning of offset 0, 1? From this cell, 0 means same row, 1 means next column. So please select. Then active cell R1C1 write amount. Then if you write amount, you must come to 1 step down, one column previous. So 1 column previous means -1 in that write amount. 1, 0, B, 1, 0, go to the next row, 1, 0, go to the next row, 1, 0, go to the next row, 1, 0, go to the next row. -5, 1. What is the meaning of it? 5 rows up, 1 column right side. In that write this and so on. That is what the difference between the relative reference macro and absolute reference macro. Absolute reference macros are very powerful, but if you want to record the absolute reference macro, you must have a good command with respect to the shortcuts, right? Now, friends, we'll start Okay, debugging the program now. Now it's not a okay relative reference macro. Now let me just go and disable this. Now I started recording a macro. It's a normal macro sample. Okay, 9, Control Shift H. Now can I click OK? Yes. Now it's recording. Go to A1, write company. Go to B1, write area. Go to D1, write date. Go to G1, write amount. Then company is Google, then Microsoft, then IBM, then Twitter, then WhatsApp. That's all. Now let me just select this file. Now let me drag this down till 500 records. Yeah, I'm just taking only till 500. Now, area east, west, south, north. Okay, now let me just copy and drag this down. Let me write a formula equal to rand between date of 2010, 1, 1. If you observe, everything is recording at the back end. Let me copy this. Let me go here. Now copy, paste special values. Now go to the home tab and change the format of this. Now equal to rand between 100 to 1000. Enter, copy and paste. Now copy, paste special values. Now let's keep the bold. Now let me give the freeze. Now let me select everything. Auto fit column width. Very good. Now, okay, let me keep the cursor in A1 finally. Now let me just stop. I think so many steps we recorded now. So many steps. Now what I want now the Excel, I want Excel to perform all the steps. What is the shortcut for this I have given? Control Shift H. Check it out. All steps very quickly. Now let me just delete everything. Now let me go here. Can I run the step? Control Shift? Yes, I can do that. Now Control Shift H, I can do this. But friends, it is going very fast. How do I know what is the each step it is doing? I can go back to the program and I can read the program, but the program is very lengthier. I cannot understand and I cannot follow. That is the reason we have a debugging process. What is the meaning of debugging process? Now what I'll do in this program, let me keep the cursor here, or else even you close this, go to the developer, go to the macros. Are you finding sample 9? Now click step into. Step into is giving this color. If you are directly here, you can use F8 is the shortcut. Now, what is the advantage of using this? Have a look, everyone. There is a program here. I'm sorry. Let me close this and close this just to show you how this program is running. Okay, everyone, please concentrate. Yeah, now I'm running this program. Now, F8 is a shortcut to go to each and every step. If I click F8, it will go here. One more F8, it will go here. One more F8, 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 and so on. Now I went down, so it is going very slow. When I run the macro, it goes very fast, but when I start putting the steps, when I keep on putting F8, that means this is in a debugging mode. When there is a mistake, because every time macro I don't record it, probably sometimes I may get it from outside, maybe I may get from the Google, but I want to customize for my own purpose. First of all, I must know what are the steps it is recording. Then if everything is fine, I'll keep it as it is. If not, I need to edit. First of all, to know what are the steps it is recording, by looking into the program, it is little difficult for me. So I'll debug so that each and every step will happen one after other. Now, finally, after selecting this, now stop. Check it out. So this is the way of decoding. So every step you can ask Excel to, okay, perform one after other. Once you click F8, then only it will perform. If anywhere something goes wrong, once you start putting F8, 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 somewhere it will tell you, Mr. Sharon, this is wrong. As simple as it. Friends, We'll quickly take 2 minutes break. Okay. Then post break, we'll start talking about, I'll give you a small assignment and let us try to see how we can solve that. Okay. Just for 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, so I think at least small things you started getting. Friends, macro, if you want to learn seriously, it's not definitely one day job. Okay, you have to continuously practice. And first of all, okay, there's a myth in the market that macros are little difficult. Recording a macro, at least you can do. Then you can start writing the program. If you want to learn the macros in a best way, I'll give you a method. In fact, I do the same thing when I want to record the macro. Now let me go here. Let me open one more Excel file. Now let me save this file and close. Yeah, this is what my Excel. I'll go to developer. I'll go to record macro and so on. But friends, when you record a macro at the back end, it writes something, sample one, Control Shift A. Now, when I start writing this at the back end, it is writing a code. Now, while recording, can I see what code it is typing? Now, I'll just go here. I'll go to the macros. Okay, or else you go to Visual Basic, then you are finding this. So this is what the program where your macros, your coding is always recorded into the module. Now what I'll be doing, let me close this, let me close this, let me put in a minimization. Now I'll just reduce this size. I'll even reduce this size also. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now I am seeing the program here. Yes. Now what I will do, if I record a next macro, that will come below this. That is what we know. Now I'll ask Excel to record one more macro. What is that? Sample 2. For this, let me use Control Shift B. Okay, so or else let me keep both one after other. This is what general practice I do when I see how the macro is happening. Everyone, please have a look. What is the method I'm following? I'm just keeping macro as well as Excel one after other. Now, is this visible for all of you, both the screens? Yes. Now, what I'll be doing, I will start recording a macro now. Now, record the macro, sample 2, Control Shift B. Once I click OK, just check it out. A line will be added here. Check it out. Okay, now I kept my cursor into A1. It has recorded A1.select. Now, right, sorry, I'm writing in the program mistakenly. No problem. Now, let me keep the cursor here. Right, A1.select. Now, write company. Now, if I write company, immediately what it has written? Range A1.select, active cell dot formula R1C1, company, then select B1. Now, let me select area. It has written the program again. Now, let me put date. Just have a glance into the right side also. Then put a amount. Then company, let me put Swiggy, Fasus, Uber Eats, Food Panda, then Zomato. Let me select these five. Let me just drag this down till maybe 500 records. Excel is writing each and every program. If I go fast, it goes fast. If I go slow, now let me write it fast. Now I'm just keeping my cursor east, west, south, north. Now let me select this. Now let me just copy and paste. Now equal to rand between. I'm using a date format 2010 1 and I'm going to the date format again 2018 12 31st. Now just check it out. I'll go a little faster. Excel also do so many steps. I'm sorry. I went below. Now copy this. paste special values, go to the formulas, keep it into date format, equal to rand between 100 to 1000, copy this and go here. Now copy, paste special values. Now I'm just selecting this. Now for the bold, what is the one it has written? Selection.font.bold equal to true. Now you can understand a couple of other things. Selection.font that italic true. That means even italic will come. Now let me keep the cursor here. Now let me do freeze pane. Now let me keep the cursor. Now let me stop. Where is the dollar button? Stop record. Right? So now when I ask Excel to record it, it can just run the same. When I ask Excel to run, it run the same macro. Okay, this is the way you can understand for each and every step at the back end what is the program Excel is writing. Once you understand this program, writing a VBA code will be much more smaller. As I told you today morning in the first half an hour session, when Excel is writing a program, it writes so many unnecessary steps. Okay, but you know in depth, then making it smaller, okay, you will always have an option. Now, friends, for 10 minutes, very quickly, I'm giving you a small assignment. If you are before, I'm sure you are before Excel. Okay. So how you are going to solve this? I opened a blank Excel. Now, let me insert so many Excel files. You can also insert how many Excel files I inserted? 100 Excel files. Then I right click, I select all Excel files. I selected all the Excel files. Now I selected these 10 cells. Now what happens? Whatever I write in this Excel, that means those values will belongs to every sheet because I selected all the sheets. Now here I'm using a rand between 100 to 1000. Copy, paste special values. Now that means friends, in which sheet this is happening? In every sheet. Now let's go to home. Now, if you deselect the sheet, just check it out. The values are there everywhere, every sheet. Now, my question is very simple. My assignment is very simple. What my assignment I want Excel has to append all the 100 sheets data one below other. Don't confuse. I want Excel has to append all 100 sheets data one below other. That means below the first sheet data, I want second sheet data. Below first and second sheet data, I want third sheet data and so on. That means finally how many records you must have in one sheet? 1000 records because every sheet is having 10, 10 into 100, total 1000. What is the method you follow? Friends, I'll give you just 2 to 3 minutes. You just start, okay, tell me what is the procedure I need to follow. Okay, so that we can run. Just take 2 minutes, please. First think, okay, or else put on a paper or maybe in Excel, what are the steps you may need to follow? Any clue? Anyone done? Okay, first we'll start putting the steps. Okay, let me put the steps here. What are the steps? First step, what I need to do? I'll use a shortcut, Control plus Home. Why? Because in this case, first of all, I should know we should record which macro, absolute reference or relative reference. We should record using relative reference macro. Why? Because maybe in the first instance, I may need to paste the data from A11. Next time, I should keep my cursor into A21. Next time, I should keep my cursor into A31 and so on. So my position of the cursor is relatively changing. So that's the reason that is the first thing. Second thing, let's look into the steps. Control Home, always I use the shortcut. Why? Because when I start using the relative reference, wherever my cursor is there, from where it will run, record. When I just keep my cursor mistakenly, if I run the macro, my macro will run from here, which is wrong. So that's the reason, whatever the case it is, I want to go to the first step. Okay, first cell. That's what my first, okay, step. Second one, I'm here, right? If I want to reach here, there are two ways. I'm already here, control home. Now, if I want to reach here manually, you can do that. But once you go down manually 10 steps, Excel will write at the back and go 10 steps down. Every time it tell to Excel that go 10 steps down, every time it comes to A11 only. So you cannot do that. So what you need to do, use the shortcut control plus down arrow. What is an advantage of this? Control home, control down arrow. This will take you to, okay, that's the reason shortcuts are very important. Excel takes us to in A1 cell. Now, cursor will be moved to the last cell in the range of the same column. Yes, is it correct? Yes. Why? Because when I do control down, it will take to here. But are you going to paste the data here, next sheet data? No. I need to go one step down. So what is the next step? Down arrow. Okay, this take us to here. Excel takes us to 8 and 7. Then third one, down arrow. Down arrow means Excel will take us to A11 cell. Right? Now I am here. Now this is the place I need to paste. Now my cursor is here. Now what I need to do, to paste the data first I should copy. To copy the data first of all I should select. To select the data first of all I should go to that sheet. Yes. Now I should go to the sheet, next sheet. How to go to the next sheet from here? Control paste down is the shortcut. You can even do this. Keep the cursor here. With the mouse, you can click it. But the problem is when you click with the mouse, Excel manually understand that you need to go to sheet 99. Every time it goes to sheet 99. But if I use the shortcut control paste down, then Excel is trying to use the shortcut and control paste down is next sheet, right? So that's the reason always use the shortcut. Now control paste down. Now if I use control paste down, maybe my cursor may be in the next sheet somewhere at different places. If that is the case, it is very difficult. Again, I'll use one more shortcut, control plus home. Not in this sheet. Control paste down will take you to the next sheet. In the next sheet, we don't know where the cursor is. So whatever the case it is, I want every time the cursor should go to the first. Now I need to select the data, right? To select the data, what I need to do, control shift paste down so that I can select the entire data. Don't select manually with the mouse like this, because if you select like this, Excel selects only 10 records. Maybe who knows, in the next sheet 100 records may be there. In some other sheet only 12 records may be there. Some other sheet 21 records may be there. That's the reason we use a shortcut control shift down arrow. So my sixth step, control plus shift plus down arrow, right? Now it will select you everything. Now what is the shortcut I have to use? Seventh, CTRL, CTRL. Now page up. Why? Sorry, I should copy it. Control plus C. Because I have selected this, then I should copy. Then where I need to paste that, I need to paste here. If I want to come here, paste here, first of all, I should reach this sheet. For that, what is the shortcut? Control plus paste up. That means I'm here, control shift, control plus paste up. I'll reach here. Already my cursor is here, right? So if my cursor is here, I can simply paste over there, control plus V, right? Once I pasted, I should go back to the first cell. What is the shortcut to go to the first cell? Control plus home. Now, this is very important step. You must be very cautious. This is very important step and you must be very cautious. If I don't delete the next sheet, if I don't delete the next sheet, every time sheet 99 is the next sheet of sheet 100. So every time Excel go to this sheet. So what I need to do, I should go to the next sheet again, CTRL plus page down. Then that means I'll reach sheet 99. The next step, delete the sheet. What is the shortcut to delete the sheet? Control plus, sorry, Alt EL, Alt comma E comma L. Then Excel will ask a pop-up. Sharon, do you want to delete the sheet? Wherever we started deleting the sheet, I'm sure we'll get a pop-up. We need to enter. Once we enter, it will take you to the next sheet. So I have to come back to the previous sheet. Control page up. Don't worry. Okay, once we run the program, you will get to know each and every step, right? So don't confuse everyone. Now I'll start recording the macro. Now my cursor is here. Now what I'll do, I'll go to the developer. I want to use first of all relative reference. Now record the macro. What is this macro? Console files, console sheets. Control Shift Q is the shortcut I'm using. Can I click OK? Yes. Friends, what is my first shortcut? Control Home. Sorry. Control Home. Now, what is the next shortcut? Control down arrow. What is the next next third step? Down arrow. What is the next one? Control page down. Control plus page down. I know here what is the shortcut? Control plus home. Here what is the shortcut? Control shift down arrow. Control C. Control page up. We are till reached 8 steps. Now control plus V. Now control home. Now control page down. I need to delete the sheet. What is the shortcut? Alt EL. You need to enter. You are into sheet 98. You should go back to the previous sheet. Control page up. Last step, 14 steps. Done. Now stop. See how best the macro we record, that is depending on how best we understand the steps. You should not have any ambiguity or vagueness in recording the steps. So wherever judgmental, let's say your step is based on your experience or judgment, macro cannot work. But wherever your step is just a process in the Excel, then you can ask the support of Excel. Okay, so now let me use the shortcut Control Shift Q. See, it asked me to delete. See, this pop-ups will not delete it automatically. This whenever this message comes, see now I'm doing Control Shift Q, 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 Control Shift Q. Done. Done. How many sheets I did? 10 sheets. Now if I go down, how many maybe the cells which will be available here? 100 cells must be there. Check it out. Absolutely. Right. Now what I'll be doing, I will go to the program now. Now let's go to edit. In this program, yeah. Now this what my program is. In this program, if you look into the steps, what are the steps? See, though this much of bigger assignment we are doing, but steps are very simple. Go to A1, select, control down. For that, what is the program it has written? Selection.end, Excel down arrow. Then select that area. Then active cell offset 1, 0. If you reach to 10th cell A10, then I want to go to A11. So for that I used active cell offset 1, 0 next to in the same column range A1 dot select. Now active sheet next select, that means go to the next sheet, control page down, in that go to A1 cell, then select starting from the first cell till the end, then copy, then go to the previous sheet, then paste it, then go to A1 cell, then go to the next sheet, then application cut copy mode for dot before this step, I'll use a small code here because I don't want to every time click enter for deletion of the sheet. In Excel, there is a program. See, application is an object. In that, display alerts is one of the item. We call it as an element. Okay, so it's a property or else application dot display alert. I want to make it false. That means I don't want Excel to up display any of the alert. Now false. Friends, in this case, whenever you're trying to disable, after the step, you have to enable it because that is disable. Okay, you cannot make it live because at the back end, it continuously disable. So after deletion, what I need to do, application dot display alerts equal to true. Now I'll enable it. No problem. After deletion, if I enable, nothing will happen, right? Now, let me close this. Now, what is a shortcut I should use? Control Shift Q. See what happened? I'm just keep on pressing. Okay. Now let me use Control Shift Q. Just check it out. Sheet 89 is there. That will disappear. Sheet 88, sheet 87, 86, 85, 84, 83, 82, 81, 80. 21 sheets I added just now. But this time you're not finding a pop-up just because one line item. Now if I do Control down arrow, 210 cells will be there. Check it out. But again, doing again and again for every sheet, Control Shift Q, Control Shift Q, Control Shift Q, it takes a lot of time, right? Now I'll add one more small line item in the program. Just check it out. Oops.